talking Charlotte 49ers baseball. This is Nick, as always, joined by Kevin,
What's up, Niner Nation?
producer Brad, making it all happen.
Hey, hey.
All right, folks. So here's the deal. We're with you here tonight. We're going to spend some time talking all things Charlotte baseball. We've got the softball team playing in an elimination game at the bottom of the hour. So we're going to try to keep an eye on that as well. The baseball team is down in Boca. We have it on good authority that they are going to see a movie tonight, maybe even right now as we speak. Do not know what movie they're going to see. Boys, y'all got any guesses on like what movie?
Doctor Strange?
Dallas could be my guess.
That's probably it. I would guess that as well.
I saw that Doctor Strange 2 is out, and my first thought was I need to see Doctor Strange 1, I guess. Brad, I know you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a Marvel guy.
Yeah, I like comic book movies in general, but I don't see everything. I didn't see the Eternals. I had no desire for that.
Okay.
So,
I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
well,
I thought like Benedict Cumberbatch was like, he was in like some CBS, like some PBS masterpiece theater kind of stuff. He was like this serious actor. And the next thing I know, he's like one of the weirder Marvel. I don't know. He doesn't strike me as cool like Iron Man or anything like that. I don't know. That may be an unpopular opinion, but I don't know. As you all have found out on this show, I don't care if anybody shares my opinion or not.
I think they're
whatever.
I think Doctor Strange is cool. It's just in his own psychedelic way. So,
I would rather watch Doctor Strange Love, which for folks of a certain age will know what that is, and the rest of you won't, and that's fine. But look it up, Stanley Kubrick. Doctor Strange Love, or How I Learned to Love the Bomb and Stop Worrying, I think is the alternate title. Anyway, all right, folks. I don't know. That's probably Kevin's just laughing. That's probably what they're going to see. Doctor Strange 2. I don't know. We'll effort that. If Toby might be listening from inside the theater, and if you are, Toby, just text us. We'll send you a link. You can call in, from the movie, like give us play-by-play or something. But here we are. We're gonna talk baseball for a little bit. It's an interesting week. It's been an interesting week. It's going to be another interesting weekend for the Niners as we head towards conference tournament. As always, jump in the chat. Producer Brad's got an eye on that. If you want to hit us up on Twitter, we'll do that as well. It's always fun when you folks interact. So let us know what's on your mind out there. Heck, we'll even take your movie takes if anybody's seen Doctor Strange 2 and just wants to sound off on that. I won't know what you're talking about, but go right ahead. All right, Kevin. So no midweek game this week, right? So it's been kind of, it's like we're like Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands. Have a midweek game, so we've had to watch other people.
Yeah, we got the Niner Nuggets out a little later this week. Had a little time, and got to kind of regroup a little bit and watch, like you said, watch some other games. Watch a little MLB. But yeah, Niners are getting ready for the final stretch. 2 weeks left, coming down to the wire. We got.
So I'm breaking news here on Diamond Niner Report. They are doing a team movie. As I said, apparently they are the only people in the theater. And I've asked what movie we're gonna see, but let's see. There's can you for those of you who are watching on YouTube, there's a picture. So we're Doctor Strange. So there you go. There you go. The stuff you won't get in the box score. They are indeed seeing Doctor Strange, not Doctor Strange Love, which would be more my speed. But all right, cool.
Yeah.
So last weekend, Kevin, a lot of stuff to break down with the Rice series. The Niners are on quite a streak now. They've swept 3 straight weekend series. It's really it's a really remarkable thing when you think about it, because a couple of things have gone on in the league. One, the Niners have swept 3 straight series, which always helps. But the standings have kind of contracted back together, if you will. Before this 9-game conference winning streak, the Niners were closer, just mathematically speaking, the Niners were closer to missing the conference tournament altogether than they were first place. Now here we are 3 weeks later, and they are actually closer to first place than they are missing the tournament. They're 4 games. Charlotte is 4 games behind Southern Miss for first place at 14-10. So, I mean, that's a remarkable turnaround.
Right. So first half of the conference season, first 15 games, played 30 games in the conference schedule. First 15 games, the Niners were 5-10. And since then, the Niners are 9-0 with the final 6 games to be played. So that's quite a turnaround. The second half of the conference season, Niners starting to get healthy. They're the hottest team in the league, one of the hottest teams in the country right now, with I think with 11 out of 12 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they are getting hot at the right time. And two of the sweeps are at home, one sweep on the road. Marshall has only been swept by one opponent this year, and that was us. They picked up a win this past week at UTSA to avoid a sweep there. But Niners are playing well at the right time and got things turned around, and they're still under the radar nationally. A lot of folks are still kind of overlooking the Niners. They kind of wrote the Niners off after that Middle Tennessee series, but they're beating teams. We call them D1 baseball, and other guys are given love every week. Seems like a different Conference USA team. Whichever Conference USA team beats Southern Miss that week, they jump on and they give them a lot of love. Flavor of the week, Conference USA. But hey, they keep ignoring us, and the Niners will be there at the end, and they're playing good ball.
I don't know about you, but I kind of like that. I think the under the radar is the way to go. There's only one radar that matters anyway, and that's coming up in just a couple of weeks. You're right. What's interesting though is it's Southern Miss plus one other, and you know it was UAB. UAB got to be the darlings because they went and beat Southern Miss. Of course, they had just been swept by us. That kind of got ignored conveniently, and then then it became Old Dominion, who we own the road series over, and not to mention that Old Dominion. We'll talk about the week Conference USA had, but Old Dominion didn't help themselves this week either, losing 2 midweek games. So yeah, it's kind of been, the Niners are kind of under the radar, and I don't know, man, I kind of dig it right now.
Yeah, and I feel like we'll get at least 2 teams in the conference in the tournament. I think Southern Miss is pretty much, they're going to be in the tournament. At one point, they were mentioned as a host, as a top 8 seed. I don't think that's going to happen anymore, but Southern Miss is in the tournament for sure, I believe. And then it's kind of like UTSA, UAB. I mean, not UAB, UTSA, ODU, Charlotte, and Middle Tennessee is kind of still hanging around with a good RPI. I think those teams are in the 50s, and we're in the 80s. FAU, they're in the 90s right now. They're kind of outside looking in as far as RPI goes, but we play La Tech the last weekend of the series and of the season. They're in the 50s, so there's some opportunities for our RPI to jump up in that bubble range. But and then of course the tournament, we'll have some opportunities there, hopefully, to bump up the RPI to that bubble range. And obviously, you win the whole thing, you go automatic bid. So eyes are on the prize, and the Niners are getting hot at the right time. So
The RPI seems to be a little quirky this year. I don't know if it's necessarily more quirky this year than in years past, but I feel like I'm noticing it more. Um, Kendall Rogers was talking about this on Twitter today in a conversation with Matt Brown, who's really more of a college football guy. But of course, Kendall, being a hardcore college baseball guy, because Jim Schlossnagle, the head coach at Texas A&M, canceled a midweek game this week and was pretty honest about why that game got canceled. Basically, that we're managing our RPI. We didn't need that game. You're still seeing, and this was Kendall's point, you're still seeing teams moving pretty considerably just off of one game. At this point in RPI, it should be fairly, I don't know, it should be starting to be established a little more. But on the other hand, the Niners are winning and winning and winning, beating the teams in front of them, but really not making a lot of headway on the RPI number right now, because I think it's still, I didn't look it up before the show, but last time I saw it, it was like 83, 84. And we're just having a hard time. And realistically, we need to really start to create a narrative around why we belong in the tournament. And there is one to be had. We can talk about that. But numerically speaking, just my opinion, I think we need to tell that story from the 60s at a minimum.
Right. I agree.
Not the 80s.
Yeah. I think that, like I said, there's some opportunities to jump up in that RPI soon. But to touch on their point about teams canceling games, I don't know if you saw that last weekend, Notre Dame canceled a whole weekend. They're supposed to go to William and Mary, and they just canceled the whole weekend because they didn't want to take the RPI hit, which is crazy. Cancel a whole weekend to avoid RPI hit.
I saw a team not too long ago on the road. Niners were playing, and I'm not going to go in on them because I already did. Yeah, that got. By the way, we got a lot of feedback from last week. I didn't get any hate mail, but I did have. Heck, I got Feet's uncle right now in the chat. Who's a Chapel Hill grad, by the way. Big fan of the show. Feet's uncle, Chapel Hill grad. He says, by the way, Kevin, he says I'm right about the Chapel Hill fans, and he was considering returning his diploma. However, he could not part with the lifetime wine and cheese coupon printed on the back of his Chapel Hill diploma. So
it does really come with a coupon.
Yeah, I mean, and the grads get the wine and cheese coupon, and everybody else just shops at Walmart for all their Tar Heel gear needs. Anyway, yeah. So I saw a team who shall this week remain nameless. I feel like do everything that they could because of the weather and the swamp that they play in, try to get a game off the schedule during the weekend. Try to it's the weather's too bad, we can't play, to try to keep a loss out of the loss column. I feel like that's what was going on. Now, it's one thing to try to manipulate the weather or maybe even the batter's eye, but a whole weekend, like you just didn't get on the plane, like you just stayed in South Bend and cited RPI concerns. I hope the committee's watching. That's bad.
They didn't cite anything. I looked for any kind of press release on why they canceled the series or anything from either school, and it's just strange. I'm sure Notre Dame wrote a check.
Oh, I'm sure.
But yeah, you're taking us. Those William and Mary kids are probably looking forward to playing that series. Um, they're not having a great season, and uh, they're some of the seniors their careers winding down. They probably had that marked on their calendar, close to Notre Dame at their home stadium. So it's disappointing to see stuff like that.
So
But,
instead, they took their frustrations out on Old Dominion this week.
right, yes, and end up hurting Conference USA in the process. Where were we? What were we talking about? We were talking about RPI.
We were
Niners.
talking. Yeah, we were
I'm
talking.
trying to get us back to.
Yeah, we were talking. Yeah, that's where.
Yeah, there's opportunities for us still there. I don't think anyone's canceling any series against us or midweeks against us.
No, you got South Florida is not they're behind us. I don't know where they not 90. They're in the 90s. But it's on the road, so that'll help. Some of the problem we had is just like Marshall and Rice were just 200-ish. And that hurts. Hard to make traction when you're playing them, even if you're on the road. But this weekend's a good opportunity. Tuesday on the road, South Carolina. That's just SEC play. South Carolina is having a terrible season. They're ready to run their coach out of town on a rail. Their RPI is still in the 40s.
Yes, it's. I'm sorry, it's 66 now.
Okay, 60. Well, it's been dropping. It was 40 about a week ago. They're still hovering just barely over 500. They're below 500 in the SEC, but overall they're just over 500.
Yeah, and they lost to Upstate yesterday or Tuesday.
Yeah,
at home. And they host Kentucky this weekend.
And Kentucky's been playing really well. So that's the numerically speaking, a road game against a top 100 opponent. We've got 4 road games in a row against top 100 opponents. That's going to help. And then you bring Louisiana Tech into the haze next week. So it's there. The opportunity is there. Now the good news is the way Conference USA is laying out. When we get to Hattiesburg, everybody's going to be top 100.
Right. There's a clear line to cut off. I think the top 8 teams right now, the highest is 93 FAU, and then there's a huge drop after that. Marshall's 183, Rice 208, FIU 211, and Western Kentucky 221. So there's about 100 position drop after their top 8 that makes the conference tournament. So, and it's looking like the top 8 are gonna be Southern Miss, UTSA, FAU, La Tech, Middle Tennessee, Charlotte, ODU, and UAB. Marshall's 2 games out of 8 right now with 6 games left. Rice and FIU could be eliminated this weekend from making the tournament. And Western,
it would be hard to see Marshall forcing their way in, especially playing at Old Dominion. I don't.
Right.
And
they've got FAU. They've got FAU at the YMCA to end the season. And I don't see. I'm gonna go out on. I'm gonna go ahead and predict that one of those 3 games is not going to be played, and it's going to affect the standings.
Oh, when FAU rolls in there.
Yeah, when FAU goes to Marshall, there's going to be one of those games is going to get canceled, and it's going to throw off the whole standings because there'll be a half game. They'll have a half game up or down on somebody, and it'll affect the seeding. So I'm gonna go ahead and call that.
That I mean, it almost happened already to us. I mean, they were angling for it. So yeah, I can totally see that. Totally see that happening.
Well, let's get back to the Rice. Let's talk about the Rice series.
Yeah, let's talk Rice, and then let's talk we'll talk conference and at-large chances and all that good stuff here in a minute. But yeah, let's go back to Rice.
Well, we talked last Friday after the 13-0 game on Friday night. We had our first Friday night show.
Yep.
And Hale had just pitched a great game. We shut him out 13-0. Hale Sims ended up winning Conference USA Pitcher of the Week last week, which is our third pitcher.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, fourth pitcher. It's fourth pitcher. Yeah, because we had
Yeah.
Colin Kramer won it 1 week.
Yeah.
Matt Brooks won it 1 week, and then uh, Cam Hansen won it 1 week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, congrats to Hale. He's been pitching great lately. Um, he's gonna be on the bump for us tomorrow night again. And if he can get us another start like that, man, we're gonna be good for the weekend.
And I know we talked about this last Friday because that was kind of cool doing that's kind of going back to our roots again, doing a show like reacting to a game. That was pretty cool. Um, it's such a neat story to me that Hale was obviously sent out there as an opener, kind of get us through the lineup. And then, Hale's just like, I'm not leaving. I mean, that's just awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what you want to see in somebody when you put them out there, is that attitude that, you make your plans, that's fine, but I got my plan. And my plan is that I'm staying for a while. And he did. That was just, that's really, and I don't, I'm coming into this season. I mean, I told somebody else, they were like, man, pitching is we're really doing some different things on the mound and the weekend. I said, hey, this is just like we predicted it. If you paid attention to Diamond Niner report in the preseason, we had, a rotation that said Hale Sims will start us off. And then Saturdays we're going to Will Lancaster, and by Sunday, we'll be with Colin Kramer. That's just how we predicted it. Remember?
Yeah. I don't remember that. I do remember calling Will Lancaster game in the fall and saying he was impressive in the fall, and Cam Hansen was impressive in the fall. But those are two new arms that we had seen, and Colin Kramer. But no, we didn't predict that.
No, nobody did.
And it's good because when you get something like that on a Friday night, that really sets you up well for the weekend. And it set us up well last weekend.
Sure did.
Not for the sweep. We had Will Lancaster went on Saturday. He pitched well, and then we had I think Goose came in relief. And then we had a weather delay, which I think kind of messed things up. I think Goose could have probably gone the rest of the way if we hadn't had a weather delay.
Yeah.
But had a weather delay, and that kind of affected our bullpen a little bit. And we ended up having to hold on 14-13 in that one. Matt Brooks came in and got the save, which is good, with a incredible double play ball to end that game. Rice had the tying run at third. We had a guy on, and then they had a guy on first and third with one out. Matt Brooks induced the game-ending double play as the tying run was attempting to score, and yeah, that was a big one. Won the series, and then we move on to Sunday.
Fired up.
Yeah, the glove spike. Yeah, I love seeing the glove spike in after that double play ball. Yeah, that was a big one because you could feel the tension was building.
Yeah,
we had a big lead, and they kept whittling away after that rain delay, and yeah, I think it was 14-0 before the rain delay. It was 14-4 before the rain delay.
yeah.
And then it was 9-0 after the rain delay. So Niners hang on, get the series win, and then go on to Sunday. Colin Kramer. Again, he was probably an opener. He had already pitched. He had pitched previously in the series. He pitched a couple innings on Tuesday night against Chapel as well. And he ends up throwing 7 innings of one hit baseball.
Yeah, one hit.
7 innings, one hit baseball, no runs allowed. I mean, impressive effort. I mean, you don't get much better pitching than that. I mean, 7 innings, a one hit ball, goose egg on the board. Niners put up a lot of offense, and um, we were trying hard to get the run rule walk off. We just couldn't get that 10th run across.
Yeah.
But yeah, impressive effort, and the bullpen was solid as well with Quentin Martinez. And Goose came in that one as well. Came in for an inning. Uh,
You know,
yeah,
I want to say this about Rice, and you know, they are a long way from their former glory. They are. But they're a team that we're going to be playing for a long time, because they're headed to the AAC along with us, and quite frankly, all of us that are going to the American, and those are already in the American, like East Carolina, like Wichita State, you know, Tulane, all of us need Rice to get back to where they were. That would be good for everybody. And you know, I'm going to give them a lot of credit. It's way too early to tell how Cruz will work out. I thought that was a bit of a risky hire for them, hiring a guy. He's a Rice guy, but he does not have a wealth of coaching experience. Even certainly no college baseball coaching experience, and his coaching experience that he had was rather he was light on that at any level, frankly. But former big leaguer, Rice guy. Of course, you know, you and I know, the three of us know how that goes when you're talking about hiring an alum. That just makes it a little more complicated when things don't work out. But to their credit, like I said, I don't know. It's way too early to tell how they're going to recruit, how they're going to go. But you got to give them credit. I thought they played hard. I mean, they got beat. They got beat pretty handily by us on Friday, and still fought hard on Saturday. And I mean, even on Sunday, I mean, they just got shut down by Kramer. But I mean, they were still engaged, I thought. So that's good. That's a good sign for the future, I would think.
yeah, and yeah, I don't know. It's they're on their third coach in what, 4 years, or 4 or 5
Yeah.
seasons. So, and it's his first year, so it's going to take time to rebuild and recruit. And it's a little different at Rice with the academics and stuff there. So um, we'll see. Hopefully they get it figured out, and come strong into the AAC. But yeah, it was nice to get the sweep of Rice. Um, had another milestone over the weekend. Uh, Kobe Bruce.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
He made an appearance Saturday in Saturday's game, and passed the late Eric Walker, and he's now the all-time winningest, all-time appearance leader for the Charlotte 49ers. He has 104 appearances on the mound at Charlotte, and him and Eric Walker are the only two that have over 100. So hats off to Colby. I got a feeling he's going to be making several more appearances down the stretch in his senior year. So
We're going to need a lot more appearances from Colby.
right, yes, sir. And congrats to him. I know he's persevered through a lot last year, not being able to play, recovering from his injury, but he's come back strong, and he deserves every bit of his the accolades he's receiving right now. So hats off
I got
to
to tell
Colby.
you, when he came back out of the dugout and waved his cap to the record, I was in my feels a little bit. You know, that was cool. That was a cool moment. I was all in my feels just a little bit.
Yeah, he's been here a long time. Almost as long as we've been here. So
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, think about this. I mean, this is season 5 of this show, and he
Yeah.
predates the show.
Right. And we did have it. We had him on. Remember 2 years ago we had him on for Senior Day.
Yeah,
We had him on. Him and Todd were on for the 2020 Senior Day show.
that's right.
Um, and that was 2 years ago. So uh, thankfully he got an extra year eligibility and making the most of it. Like I
Uh,
said,
Jimmy Touchstone wants to know if it's okay to drop off and go watch Charlotte softball. Jimmy, you don't have 2 internet devices. I mean, you can watch softball and listen to us. I mean, come on, Jimmy. Speaking of Jimmy,
listen. He can listen. He can listen tomorrow, man. It's okay. He listen in the morning.
yeah, and you know what? And he will too. Uh, Speaking of Jimmy, sort of. Saturday presented some interesting tailgating conditions because of the weather. But everybody that came out was a real trooper about it. When the game got moved to 1, that meant there was a
11 to 11. You want to move to 11
yeah.
a.m.
Sorry, actually, I thought we were thinking it was going to be 1. It ends up being 11. When it got moved to 11, there was like a coffee and donuts kind of tailgate beforehand, and then when the weather delay hit, they threw us all out of the stadium, and we went back out in the pouring rain. Went back out of the tailgate, got under the awning at the camper, got under Jimmy's tent, got under anything you could find. Had a mid-game tailgate, and then we ate lunch after the game out there. So really, the combination of the weather, the time change, and everything wound up. We had 3 separate tailgates on Saturday, and the crowd was pretty solid. So if you missed out on that, I'm sorry. There's one more coming. There'll be one more Saturdays at the Hayes. And by the way, there could be any number of things on the line, standings wise, postseason wise, come next weekend. So, go ahead and start making plans for next Saturday for another awesome tailgate. Just whatever you got going, just clear your calendar. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just clear it. Whatever.
Let's go ahead and get that pumped out, because next weekend I'm gonna go ahead. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're hosting La Tech. It's gonna be a big series because now doesn't take care of business this week. We could be battling for second seed. We could be battling for who knows what. Depends on what Southern Miss does. But it's going to be a big series no matter what. Thursday is a green out. They're going to give away green Niner T-shirts. Thursday 6. Friday is Fan Appreciation Night and Firework Friday. They moved the fireworks to from last Friday to this coming Friday. So bring the kids out. We'll enjoy some fireworks, and they're giving away some Chick-fil-A as well. So mark that down. And then, of course, Saturday is Senior Night, Senior Day. So
and we've got to figure out who we're honoring on Senior Day.
Yeah, we've got It's crazy with the COVID eligibility and all that. It's you don't know who's who's leaving, who's staying, and I mean we got guys that have played 3 years of college baseball that are freshmen. So we'll have to get all that figured out, and we'll have our own way of honoring these seniors like we normally do. But go ahead and make your plans for next weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the Hayes. Gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, the giveaways, the stuff has been pretty good this year. We just need to get more information about those things out ahead of time. It seems like I know that information is on the website, but I think a lot of people don't know about this stuff. So, we do what we can, but it just needs a little more promotion on the official side of things. I think last weekend, and I'm holding one here, are these Niner mini bats pretty cool. They gave away, and I mean, it's a mini bat, so you can display it in your office. It's a good solid. I mean, it's like a pool cue. I mean, it would hurt most people if you hit them upside the head with this, so could be dangerous.
That was the Mother's Day giveaway at the Hayes.
That's a good point. On Mother's Day, they gave away sticks that you can hit people with. If you grew up in a household like I did, you know. My mama had a sandal, wooden spoon, just whatever she could get a hold of. And folks, I didn't get half of what I deserved. Dad was good for a solid leather belt. That was his go-to. And we grew up in similar households, Kevin. It just I wore, I know y'all gonna find this hard to believe, but I wore my share of whoopings. I did. And I earned every one of them and more. Let's see. Yeah, so okay. We've talked Jimmy into the dual screen. He's out walking the dogs. Chris Seaford, rest in peace, Big E. So yeah, Eric Walker, definitely rest in peace. Such a big part of the program's history. Feet's uncle chiming in, and he's right. Apparently, Feet's uncle grew up in Houston. Who knew that? You just learned the stuff you don't learn in the box score. Lord knows there's plenty of talent in Houston, and there is. Texas is a huge recruiting base, Houston in particular. Of course, everybody wants to be in there, but Rice has been good when they got their share of it. Honestly, think that was part of the problem with their last hire, Kevin. Not to dwell on that too much, but the last coach they brought in from Tennessee Tech, he wasn't a Texas guy, and that matters down there. They the high school coaches and on the circuit down there, they want to talk to a Texas guy, and
We'll have to ask Toby about that stuff one time. Sometime.
That would be a great conversation to have with Toby about, because I mean, former director of recruiting at PBR Texas. That'd be a great conversation, because if you are in Texas and you are from Tennessee, they don't give a crap unless you're Davy Crockett. That works. If you're Davy Crockett from Tennessee, that works. Other than that, that's not what they're wanting.
That's right.
Let's see here.
Looks like softball's in a delay here. I guess the other game's gone over. So they're not starting right now. They're still awaiting start time. So I've got the game tracker pulled up.
So I've got a couple of questions, and these are like legit baseball questions. They're both coming in here, and so we can kick this one around, Kevin. So the first one that came in, who else in the conference has swept 3 series in a row? I would have to.
Southern missed 10 in a row at one point. I know Southern missed 10 games in a row.
10 games in a row.
I'm guessing that was 3 sweeps. I think we might have been one of those.
Yeah, sweeps are hard. They're making the point that sweeps are really hard, and they are. I mean, baseball, when you look at football season, the national champion goes 13-0. When you look at basketball season, the national champion usually loses like in single digits. That's not baseball. Baseball's hard to win all 3 games on the weekend, no matter who you're playing, quite honestly. I mean, we saw that this weekend. Are we better? Are we a more talented team than the Rice Owls? 100%, absolutely. Did they have a chance to get us on Saturday? Yes, absolutely. Down to the last out. I mean, Friday, games 1 and 3, we held court. That middle game, they were fighting their tails off. They get scholarships too. And I mean, heck, we could have we could have dropped one. We could have dropped the final game at Marshall. I mean, that potential was there. It's hard.
Yeah, it is hard to sweep. I'm trying to look up now and check some of the schedules. I'm looking at La Tech now and see if they've got three sweeps in a well, three sweeps in a row. I don't know. Um, um, see, Marshall has not been swept at all this year, except for by us. So they've thrown a wrench in everybody pretty much.
And they're one of the teams that would be a great candidate to get swept. I mean, honestly, I mean they're hanging out at the bottom of the standings, and
yeah. I don't know. I don't think anyone has swept three in a row in our league. And yeah, like I said, first half of our conference season, we were 5-10, and then since then we've been 9-0. Looking at the last 6 games, so um, great turnaround. And I mean, we took care of business. UAB was ahead of us when we played them. Swept them. Marshall was, when we were 5-10, we were tied with Marshall for 8th spot. And so when we swept them, and then Rice, they've had a struggle. They've struggled this year, but we took care of business there, and we are sitting tied for 5th right now in conference play.
So here's your next question coming in on the chat, and I love this question. Mike's asking, does winning 4 of the 6 last conference games get us in discussion for an at-large bid? So winning the last 2 series, let's say we get 2. Let's just say we get 2 of 3 in Boca, and then get 2 of 3 back at the Hayes against Louisiana Tech. Are we in the at-large bid discussion? You want to take a swipe at that one, Kevin?
Well, I think when you look at La Tech, their RPIs in the 50s, and FAU, their RPIs in the 90s. I don't know how much. Well, I think it gets us close. If we win 4 out of 6, I don't think that'll be enough to push us into the top 3 in our league. That's just because of who other teams are playing. ODU is playing Marshall and at Western Kentucky. They're likely to win 5 or 6 of those games out of 6. La Tech's playing
Western Kentucky has taken some from some people, including us.
Right, that's true. Middle Tennessee's got Rice. They're at Rice, but then they have Southern Miss, so they're probably going to win 3 at least. And then UTSA, they have a tough road. They play Southern Miss this weekend, then UAB. But ODU is probably going to make a jump. I think they're probably going to win either 5 or 6 games. They're 1 game behind us right now. Luckily, we hold the tiebreaker, so if we win 4, they win 5. We still get the seed higher than them, but I'm not sure 4. I'm not sure 4 will be enough. If we win 3, if we sweep La Tech, that's 3 wins over a top 50 team in the RPI, and that will mean we had lost the series to FAU, but we win 3 games or 3 games over a top 50 RPI team. That probably boosts us RPI numbers up a little more. But
how about this? Let's just win 7. We have 7 games left. Let's just win them. How about that?
I like that.
That's a good strategy. I think that would work well. If we were to win 7 if we were to win 7 games in a row, if we were to finish the season 7-0, I think that would put us on the bubble, because we would be looking at a 2 or 3 seed in our conference, possibly a 1, depending on what Southern Miss does. Are they done struggling, or are they going to turn around and beat UTSA? They play 2 seed this weekend, UTSA.
Yeah.
And then they're at Middle Tennessee. So who knows what Southern Miss is going to do? They could drop
our biggest
a top spot.
Our biggest problem is that Southern Miss, if I could talk, and UTSA both have the tiebreaker over us. That's really the biggest issue.
right, and Middle Tennessee. So we have our
Hmm.
we make our we can beat FAU and La Tech and hold the tiebreaker over those two at least. But I don't know. I think like to answer the question, 4 wins probably puts us maybe top 4 in the league, just based on who everybody else is playing.
Comment in the chat there. Depends on how we do it, South Carolina, and how we show an attorney. I think that's right. South Carolina is not a player in they're not a player in the postseason, but they're probably a player in our postseason. That one's going to matter just numerically, and we can't draw, especially with some of the games that South Carolina has dropped. I mean, you said self where they dropped a game to Upstate this week. We can't drop that and still be trying to figure out the math to an at-large. Yeah, I think the answer is just go win 7 and then go to Hattiesburg and win some more. I was talking to somebody the other night, and they were texting me about, well, what if we did this? These scenarios, kind of like what we're doing. I said, look, the only game we need to win is the next one. That's it. Just win the next one, and then we go from there. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing, Kevin. See how and I know that this will play well with this crowd. It's just going to depend. It's just going to depend on what the committee, how the committee wants to look at it. I mean, we're going to do what we're going to do on the field, okay? And that number, the RPI number, is going to be whatever it's going to be. Nothing we can do about that. But in the end, the question is going to be, are they going to take into consideration the challenges that we've overcome, and in light of that, how we're playing right now? Getting David McCabe back in the lineup, has made a huge difference. A huge difference. If David is in there and feeling good, which he seems to be feeling pretty darn good these days, if David's feeling good and he's in there against Middle Tennessee and San Antonio, and Southern Miss. I mean, people talk about, oh, well, they lost, got swept by Southern Miss. Go back and look at that. I mean, we lost a game where he gave up 2 hits. Put Big Maple in the middle of that, who by the way, his on base percentage, he and Nate's on base percentage are both right around 500. They're a little over 500. Get on base half the time. You're missing a guy in the middle of the lineup that gets on base half the time. You tell me that doesn't make a difference in a few games. That makes a difference. I mean, and honestly, Kevin, I was thinking about this today. We've had more injuries than people probably. Everybody has them. Southern Miss is suffering from it right now. But we've had injuries up and down the roster, up and down the lineup pretty much all season, and been playing through various things. I mean, Jake got hurt opening weekend. I mean, Jake at one point was holding a baseball bat. He tore up a couple of his fingers. He was holding a baseball bat like a golf club to keep his pinky on the bat. And people say, what's going on with Jake at the plate? And then all of a sudden, Jake starts hitting bombs and hitting extra base hits, and he's going off. People go, wow, glad Jake's back. What got into Jake? I'll tell you what got into Jake. Jake's fingers are feeling better. I mean, all up and down. Hey, this is from last weekend, Kevin. We had an Evan Michelson sighting. We hadn't seen Evan Michelson since Purdue. Yep. I mean, you don't think that makes You don't think that would make a difference? Last time we really saw Evan Michelson pitch, he was down in Tampa painting corners at 96 miles an hour. And then he goes out. And we don't see him for, he's out for basically a couple of months. Now he's back. He's working his way back in. You don't think that makes a difference? I mean, it just depends on what the committee wants to do. We have had terrible luck with guys being dinged up. We're still dinged up various places. And guys have fought through it. And now we're probably, honestly, Kevin, we're probably the healthiest we've been since Tampa.
Yeah. And we were down a starter then. We were down Madole then. But I think what you're saying about the committee, if they're going to look at stuff like that, I think that stuff will come out in the conference tournament because these teams that were going to play in the conference tournament, they didn't see David McCabe. A lot of them didn't see Evan Michelson. They didn't see us when we had the pitch clock or the attack clock. But they didn't see this. They didn't see this Niner team. So I think that'll come out in the tournament. And the way we finish this season, they do recognize teams playing hot at the right time. And if the Niners can continue to play like they've been playing the last 3 weeks, we got a good shot at getting noticed. This weekend starts this weekend with FAU. We take care of business this weekend. We might start raising a few eyebrows. We might start showing up on some radars nationally. But we're not quite there yet.
We're not, and that's okay. We got more work to do. Here's something else I think plays in this, Kevin. When we get to Hattiesburg, likely. I mean, just looking at the way this plays out, we're likely going to be playing somebody like San Antonio or Middle Tennessee, like right off the bat. So you want to change the narrative around that San Antonio series. You want to change the narrative around the Middle Tennessee series. Take them on in Hattiesburg right out of the gate. And I think that's likely to happen. Chances are pretty good. Take somebody like that on, get Middle Tennessee, get San Antonio. Of course, San Antonio's probably going to finish second, so we don't want to be down that low, but you see my point. Get San Antonio, get Middle Tennessee back on the field with David in the lineup, with our guys feeling more healthy, with a full complement, full list we're going to have. I mean, never mind that we're still, from we came into the season without Christian Lothus. We came into the season without Brevin Yarborough, a guy that they were thinking was going to contribute out of the pen. Get these guys on the field in Hattiesburg with the best product that we have available and beat them in front of God and everybody. And then you say, yeah, so that's 2 months ago. We lost that series in San Antonio, but check this out. Look what we did today. Now you can
look at that. Yeah, the Middle Tennessee series. I mean, we had an extra inning game on Friday night. We lost. Could have easily gone our way, but it didn't. And that was a series. That was a series there. I mean, we had a big lead in the Sun or the third game of the series, and could have got that one done, but couldn't nail it down in the end. But yeah, we got a chance to change the narrative, like I said, in the tournament. So looking forward to it. Finish the next 2 weeks hot, and go into the tournament. Nobody wanting to face the Niners. So whether it be a 2 seed, whether it be a 6 seed, whether it be a 7 seed, I mean, we're going to play these guys. We're going to play.
Yeah.
We're going to see San Antonio. We're going to see Southern Miss. We're going to see Middle. So we got our chances to prove ourselves again.
And ultimately, that's the thing. That's what it comes down to. Is if you want to be, if we want to be who we want to be, no matter what, this winds up to go where we want to go. You're going to have to play Southern Miss in Hattiesburg, and you're going to have to beat them in front of about 5,000 people. I mean,
and you might have to beat them twice.
You might have to beat them twice. This is Rocky going to fight the Russian in Moscow. You got to go in there, and you got to go into their house, and if you can't do it, honestly, if you can't do it, then it is what it is. But if you want to be taken seriously on the national stage, which we do, then that's where you got to go. That's what you got to do.
Yeah. Let's look at FAU a little bit. We're at an hour here. FAU, they just came off a series win over La Tech, right? Knocked them out of the flavor of the week discussion in Conference USA.
Yeah. Put themselves in it.
So we're going to face their Friday night guy. He was their Friday night guy last year, Hunter Cooley. He's 7-3 with a 4.13 ERA. He's going up against Hale. Hale's got the ball for us, obviously. Last year at the Hayes, he pitched 3 innings. He pitched into the fourth. He gave up 6 runs in that Friday night game, the series opener at the Hayes, and Niners ended up winning that one. And I think we ended up sweeping that one, right? 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
Still have the 4-game series at the Hayes over FAU. Saturday, TBD versus Will Lancaster. And then we seem to do well against TBD. As of the last 3 weeks, we've been pretty good against TBD. But Sunday they listed Tyler Burnham. He's a grad transfer lefty. He's got an impressive 6-0 record in 11 starts, 2.82 ERA. So he's been pretty impressive this season. They're Sunday guys, so not sure what they're going to go with Saturday, but that's who they've listed as Friday and Sunday starters.
It seems like their MO this season is that they can hit, but they go with their pitching. That they can get the pitching, and they haven't always gotten it. They dropped a midweek to Florida Gulf Coast at Florida Gulf Coast pretty handily. I know we've made reference to it several times during the show, but Conference USA had a terrible midweek. It's just terrible midweek results. Knocked us out of 5th in the RPI. We've dropped back down to 6th as a league. But yeah, they dropped a contest at Florida Gulf Coast. I think this comes down to what our I think at this point we kind of know what we have with our pitching. We know what we're going to get as far as attitude and effort out of Hale. And Will's going to grind. Will's just going to come in and just keep grinding and eat up innings and battle. And then I would, going back to Kramer, he's on a good roll. And then we've just got a collection of guys starting with Goose and Colby and Tony Rossi. And there's just a collection of guys out of that bullpen that are coming in and doing the job. So I feel like we're in pretty good shape on that. The question is can we grind down what they're doing from a pitching standpoint? And I know we can. I mean, we've talked about this, and you put that information out there earlier this week. I mean, the Niners continue to lead the nation in drawing walks. I mean, what has been going on offensively for the Niners this year is really remarkable. We're drawing walks. We're hitting for power. I mean, our team on base percentage is like 417. As a squad. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, we're leading the country in walks, and I think we're top 15 in home runs, second in our conference in home runs. We've hit we've hit 78 home runs this year. That's 12 more than we had all of last year. We've still got maybe probably 10 or so, at least six plus games left. Um, and um, yeah, and we're second in our conference, and we don't even play in a wind tunnel for a home stadium. So
And Dave still hasn't made it up above the cut line on the stat sheet. For those of you who look at the stat sheet, you know what I'm talking about. You got to, at a certain, it's an average of 2 plate appearances a game, and 75% of the games played, you move above the cut line on the stat page. Dave's still below it. And we're turning out those offensive stats at that point. Man.
Yeah, we're in, you look at the conference stats. Nate Furman's leading the league in, I think he's leading the league in hits, and he's 1 or 2 in walks. I think he's leading the league in stolen bases. So I mean,
he's going to get passed over, and he's going to get passed over at second base by Conference USA for Carter Trice. Just go ahead and mark that down. I'm going to go ahead and call that bull crap before it even happens, because it's going to happen.
And you look at,
they love them some Carter Trice.
There should be a wind tunnel factor in there that you have to factor down their power numbers. But looking at the conference only stats, Jack Dragham's batting 376 in our conference. Cam Fisher, 11 homers in conference. Cunningham's right behind with 6 homers. Dole with 5. So very balanced attack. And like you said, Dave McCabe, he hasn't played enough games to get above the cut line. So
and you're talking power numbers, and we haven't even mentioned Butch yet.
Yeah, Butcher he's got 5 homers in conference.
It's remarkable, the job, and if we want to give Coach Sebihar and probably Toby, I think those would be the guys that work the most with the hitters. Give them a ton of credit, those 2 guys, for what they've done, Toby and Coach Sebihar, working with the hitters. And at the same time, Kevin, I want to just throw this out there. Woody and Coach Miney on the pitching side, in so many ways. I know people look at the record, and last year we were going, the 40 wins, and we had sort of caught lightning in a bottle, and I mean, it's a fantastic season. When you compare the coaching jobs last year to this year, this is what people kind of overlook sometimes. This staff, I mean, we're homers. We don't even try to hide that. But I'm just telling you, this staff has coached its collective butt off this season. Not that they were cruising last season. They weren't. But with the adversity and the various things that have happened, you look at the way we're operating on the mound. We have totally gone to a non-traditional approach. And the psychology of raising guys up out of the bullpen and getting them pumped up, and they're coming in, and we're sending Hale and Colin out there as openers, and they're just staying. I mean, this is not the way you write the script, and they are not afraid to go off script and do something else, and it's really fun to watch.
Yeah. And you mentioned on the pitching side, this past weekend we had 2 weekend shutouts, and of a conference opponent. We haven't done that since 2011. I think we shut out Richmond twice on the same weekend. So impressive down the stretch. We are getting some good pitching, and like the strategy is a little different than most, but their guys are finding ways to get it done. And it's exciting to watch.
So we had a question come in about the attack clock. what happened to the attack clock was the question. Apparently, it was not in the from where we sit. We can't see in the dugout. So apparently, the attack clock kind of disappeared at some point. I'm not sure. You tune into this show to get the stuff that's not in the box score. Well, check the box score and see if anywhere in the box score it says, I don't know. Because the answer to that question is, I don't know. I don't know what happened.
I didn't. Well, where we sit at the Hayes, we can't see inside our dugout. So
yeah, we can see into the visitor dugout. And
I watched Friday's game from home on ESPN, and I don't remember seeing it on the ESPN broadcast though.
That's something to watch this weekend. See if the attack clock shows back up. I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe it got a 2-game suspension.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on that. Well, we talked that last Friday. Woody served his suspension out Saturday. Congrats to Coach Vic, 2-0. Toby just stepped in as skipper, went 2-0 last weekend. I think he was pretty glad to have Woody back in the dugout on Sunday. Apparently, we kind of took it as those were Toby's first two victories. He says that he was head coach he was the head man for a game at the end of the year, one year at Air Force, and that they got destroyed by, I think he said, New Mexico. I told him that didn't count. So as far as I'm concerned, Toby Bignell, 2-0.
Congrats, Coach Vic.
I mean, hey, we can do whatever we want to. It's our show. I mean, we do and say whatever we want to anyway. So, Coach Vic, 2-0. It's that was a ridiculous situation, but we don't need to cover that again. But
we don't need you going in on them again.
Nah, I'm don't hurt them. I'm gonna leave them alone. I'll let them be. But yeah, it's here's what's cool. Okay. Here's what's cool, guys. We're sitting here. It's May 12th, and we're talking postseason chances. And I think back to I think back to 20 what was that, 2019? Is that right? 2018. Man, time's all messed up. 2019 is when we won we won 20 games.
Yeah, and we missed the conference tournament. We were the 9 seed, I believe. Going into the last
2019, we missed the conference tournament, and we were still doing this show. we were doing this show at the end of the season, talking about missing the conference tournament, and and what the future held and all that good stuff. And so here we're sitting here, it's May 12th, and we've got people asking questions like, hey, what do you think are our at-large chances? So no matter what happens, I'll take that.
Yeah, we're talking bubble, and with 2 weeks left. Hell, Niners are hot. We got a good shot at the tournament too, man. So
yeah, Southern Miss looks very, very vulnerable right now. I know they've had some injury problems. Their bats, of course, I mean, their bats weren't. It was their arms. It was their arms that were so impressive. Their bats, not so much, and they've got some injuries, and they're having some problems right now. And to that I say, welcome to our world. I mean, we've been dealing with that all season, and it's time somebody else wears it for a little while. So, I mean, not that we want anybody to get hurt. That's certainly not what we're endorsing. But if you're dinged up, if you're a Southern Miss fan and you're upset because your team's dinged up, well, hey, welcome to the neighborhood.
Yeah, and there's still 7 teams that are in the mix to win the regular season title.
That's crazy.
So
yeah.
And no one has been eliminated yet from the conference tournament with 6 games left. It's going to come down to the last 3 games, I guarantee. But
oh yeah.
So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to follow the other conference games, and looking forward to getting back to the Hayes next weekend.
Yeah. All right. So I haven't seen a start time on softball. The other game did end, so they're on the clock now. That's coming up. So maybe we ought to just do like Jimmy and go watch softball and wrap this thing up. That's what producer Brad wants to do. He's got that look on his face, like, okay, we've run out of things to talk. It's all good. I think we can cover the important stuff.
Cover my list.
We covered Kevin's list, and we answered questions coming in via text, via chat, and I mean I feel like we've done our job. I think
actually one thing.
I think Diamond Niner Corporate should keep us employed for another week.
Yeah, well, we should get a raise. One thing I did want to mention, Kim Fisher. He had 5 straight games with a home run.
Mm-hmm.
He had 6 over 5 game period, 5 game streak, and had 11 ribbies over 5 games. That was pretty impressive. We were cheering for him to walk it off on Sunday to get that 10-run rule, but he ended up lacing a single instead. So,
it's okay. Softball starts at 9:15 and it's 9:14. So dang, Jimmy, did we time that for you or what, buddy? That's how we roll.
We appreciate them waiting for us to finish our show before they got rolling.
That's awesome. I mean, gosh. All right, folks, we're out of time. By next week, we'll be talking about softball having won the Conference USA tournament. So, and the Niners in the race, getting ready to host Louisiana Tech. So, looking forward to next week's show already. Find this podcast wherever you find your podcast. Check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, primarily Twitter, Instagram, still no TikTok, never going to be TikTok. Click subscribe on any of that stuff to be notified of new content. Say hello at the ballpark. We love that kind of stuff. Love talking to you. Come tailgate with us. That's what we love. Come to Louisiana Tech Saturday. Come tailgate with us. So until next time, this has been Nick for Kevin and producer Brad. We're definitely planning on seeing you at the Hayes.
Go Niners.